Aha! We are here.
Hello.
We are alive.
Oh wait, no, it said an error occurred. Hold on.
Dun, dun, dun.
Did it?
No, I'm
live.
showing live.
I think
Are
we're
we-
live. I think.
Are we neither live nor dead? Are we?
No, we're
Are we undead?
Are we in? Are
Nice.
we in that strange realm where
Spoiler alert.
shadows play across twilight and
Are we in the
we're
Twilight
betwixt
Zone?
humanity and something greater?
Here, let me see. Let me see my Facebook notifications. That'll tell us.
The scary door.
Yes, the room where normal things don't happen very often.
Oh boy. oh
Yeah,
boy.
no, we're live. I just checked which. All
Okay,
right.
cool.
Ah.
Fabulous. So
Hope
welcome
you all
everybody.
enjoyed that.
We are back for our Tuesday stream. It has been interspersed with all sorts of random adventures, and you are here for another interlude adventure.
Mhm.
If you want to catch up on the greater story, please visit our YouTube page. You can find us at the Society of Uncanny Prose. There you can find the whole tome of our adventures so far. We are off on little mini adventures while we are waiting for the lovely Elle to get back from her run of Peter and the Starcatchers down in the Springs. Go see it. It looks lovely. Yeah. Dan is our keeper today. This side. And we'll let him take it away.
Yes, I am going to try a little something for y'all tonight. I hope you like it. I think it'll be a slightly different flavor than most of the things that we've done, but maybe with some creative DNA in common with our last little adventure that DM happened to run for us. I hope that everybody here enjoys it. Definitely took some inspiration from some of my favorite strange media on this one. And with that said, let's get weird. This adventure is going to start off when a journalism student at Felton University by the name of Melanie is going to have received an email from a young man whom she had met on a previous excursion outside of the bounds of the university, trying to catch that big break, that name-making scoop that one could only dream of as someone at her level of expertise in the field. And it's from a man named Willard Heath. He is a local to the town of Milton Falls, Washington, several hours drive outside of Wealdport. Previously, on her last excursion out there had been some unusual reports surrounding the residents when she did get there, despite the local business owner who had been in charge of the mill seemingly having experienced a type of psychological breakdown of some kind. Things were roughly normal, and not necessarily in line with the reports she'd received. And that was potentially a bit frustrating.
Pieces were missing. They're putting things in the water. Clearly, that's a test site. There might be nuclear things happening. I'm not quite sure. The effects didn't have the nuclear residue because, that's permanent. It doesn't go away. Chernobyl's just dead. So clearly, it's not that. But it's got to be something, and it's got to be in the water because they can turn it off. Take it out. What's his face got too much of it?
It's entirely possible, and certainly the sort of thing that would be lingering in her mind when she got the second scoop from another local source, that same Willard Heath, looking to get his little mention in the newspaper clipping. And this time it seemed to be tied to something more substantial. There had been recent hunting deaths in the area, forming a bit of a chain. Unfortunately, these rash of grisly deaths stopped as suddenly as they had begun. And it does seem that there was merely a large and particularly vicious animal behind such things.
That's what all the official reports said. It's got to be Bigfoot. That's clearly Bigfoot. And it's obviously Bigfoot because nobody got a video of it. If it had been a bear, someone would have gotten a video of it. I'm just saying, like, we get videos of bears all the time. There was lots of people in the town.
It would have had to be an enormous and particularly aggressive bear, or perhaps even one on some sort of radioactive mental degradation kick, or maybe even a Bigfoot attacked by that same degree of radiation.
Yeah, crazy Bigfoot. That makes all the sense in the world. But it's gone now.
Suffice to say, Wealdport and the strange things that one hears about it have not been the only odd coincidences and seemingly inexplicable phenomena that have entered her life and slipped through her grasp. On that last trip out there to check on the killings, she did bring along someone with some outdoorsy as well as professional expertise in the area, someone who had some understanding of the local culture. One of the anthropology students at the university tonight, played by our very own Will.
He was not my first choice.
He wouldn't be most people's first choice. A rather difficult man. And shall we say, a touch gruff. However, he is quite qualified. He is someone who is likely to establish himself as a name in the field, and isn't afraid to get his hands dirty with any field work that he can get his hands on, and was quite insistent that he would be helpful in going on that last assignment. This time, and I say this time because this is the third time that Melanie has heard strange reports coming from the area of Milton Falls, Washington. There is at last something substantive that does not seem as if it can escape her grasp so easily. Willard has called again. He's been a bit flighty the last several times that he has been in contact, apologizing. Seemed like a bit of an unstable presence. Apparently there had been some upheaval in his family recently when his brother ran off to the city. But he stumbled across something and has photographic evidence to back it up. There was a previously unexplored stone tomb-like structure out in the wilderness, far outside of the historically claimed territory or reservations of most of the local tribes, but certainly not recent, and displaying some symbols that might have been continuous with other local native factions, as well as other unidentified trinkets that have turned up around the area of Wealdport. It certainly seems like it would have belonged to a native tribe, judging by how old it looks to even your untrained eye. But for something resembling clarity on the topic, somebody a bit more practiced and with more expertise would be necessary. And so we will bring ourselves into a small conference hall where Melanie is going to be bringing a briefing to both Jim Winston as well as a close personal or a close professional associate of his, also a member of the student body of Felton University, Mr. Joshua Masters. something of a, shall we say, glory hound of a student, and in his own ways, perhaps as difficult as Jim, but maybe a smidge more personable. And that might also be much to Melanie's relief.
It's a pretty low bar.
Fairly low, but it is something. And Melanie, you would have within your phone, as you are meeting with these two gentlemen, several pictures. They're a bit amateurish. They're clearly taken on a phone that isn't particularly high end and didn't really have the best lighting. But they do clearly show something dug into the rocks, and several that look like selfies, including a very surprised face from Mr. Heath.
Okay, so I think this is something, but I don't know. I'm just gonna text you guys, and tell me it's cool or important.
Well, fair enough, love. Go ahead, send the message.
I did.
It's always amazing how whenever there's pictures of Bigfoot or alien, there's always blurry and poor lighting, and nobody gets these images ever has a decent camera.
I was thinking the same. Also, these sort of rock carvings are... It's impossible to tell from the photograph whether or not they're actual legitimate evidence of some sort of past practice or just a prank.
Okay, but weird stuff happens here. It's got to be something. And if there's old evidence of weird stuff happening, that would maybe make sense for why there's weird stuff happening now.
The weird stuff happening now is because of all the meth heads out there. I've told you that before. I think there were meth heads back in the Neolithic era.
Okay, well,
Where did you get these photographs? What's your source?
well,
One thing that would become quickly apparent. Actually, why don't you give me a roll, Joshua and Jim, on either weird or sharp, depending on your preference.
13.
11.
On
Weird.
13 on weird for Jim.
11 on sharp.
11 on sharp. Okay, so Josh, you are able to determine that if that is truly ancient, it would suggest a culture that has far more refined masonry efforts than you would expect here.
Yeah.
Most get like anything that would be of the era that this like surrounding foliage, the wear and tear of the rocks and everything, things that would an age that would suggest that wouldn't line up with what you would expect of cultures in the area and the stone masonry that they would have. Something that old and that refined, that's more likely ancient Egypt or Mayan cultures than anything in the Pacific Northwest.
Well, let me tell you what. Something very interesting that ordinarily my shall I say bullshit radar would be going just absolutely amok, making noise left and right. But these carvings, they represent stone cutting techniques and were produced by stone cutting tools unavailable to frankly any local culture through the archaeological timeline that this would have been uncovered in. But I can see no evidence from these photographs, and I will say that these are poor quality photographs, but I can see no evidence for them saying that they doctored the site to make it look more well aged. This looks like a genuinely authentic find, which makes it a puzzler, because both cannot be true. Either this was staged as some sort of prop or set. It wouldn't shock me if it was from some sort of movie department, Well, or it wasn't, in which case it doesn't make sense. None of the local tribes would have been able to produce it in the timeline that would be implicated here.
And Jim, you would, from your role, be able to discern a passing familiarity from your own studies, like that some of these symbols carved in these rocks having a significance within some local cultures related to a sense of spring, of bright flowers, um, birth and restoration. And it would be strange for you as well to see them on a structure like this.
So if you're paying attention, you see Jim kind of freeze up for just a brief moment. And look, this is probably just some kind of hoax. I mean, it's not worth wasting your time going out there.
Granted, it's probably some hoax, but I'm going to be honest with you. Jimbo. I believe it would be worth taking a look and possibly talking to Miss Melanie's source here, because I, for one, am mostly curious how he did it. This, I must say, it looks good and implies a level of archaeological and anthropological knowledge I would not expect some. This is on the outskirts of what town now, darling?
Milton Falls. And I
The
don't.
locals from Milton Falls to understand all of this. It kind of defies logic. I want to check into it.
I'm just. Willard Heath is like a lumberjack or something. He doesn't really know anything about movies or archaeology or.
All I know is when I was an underclassman, Professor Billingsley thought it would be mighty good sport to drop a manufactured dragon skull he produced from a 3D printer into my dig site. Something tells me a similar sort of ruse is occurring here, but I think it's worth looking into.
Okay, that's all I want. I just want you guys to look into it, and I want to write down what you find.
Go on, Jimbo. It'll be fun. After all, we can report it as a field excursion and get some of our extracurricular credits out of the way.
All right. Just keep in mind, there are a bunch of meth heads in this area.
Well,
I've pointed out there before. You want to stay away from certain areas.
You will be aware, of course, my friends, that my previous excursions into the archaeological front lines happened quite some miles away in quite more dangerous environs. And I bring those skills and experience back with me in a country that very much embraces the right of an individual to defend themselves. I have a revolver, Jimbo. I know how to use it. We'll be fine.
Yeah, it's not going to be much good against a bunch of meth heads with M4s, so...
I didn't see meth heads there last time, but I do have a stock of purified water for us to take up so that we don't have to drink the water. And also, I don't have a car, so we have to use one of your cars.
Well, I feel reasonably safe, and I'm willing to drive. And I'll bring along my 44. I was told by the sales agent that it would shoot through meth heads and the meth head behind the meth head.
I don't think we have to shoot any meth heads. I don't think we're going to be talking to meth heads.
I'm just joking, Melody dear. Come. Laugh.
No.
Try it. Ha, 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 ha.
But it's not funny.
Where'd you find this one, Jimbo?
I found him.
Well, that would explain a lot.
I love, for the record, that y'all are going out into the woods in the Pacific Northwest, and you got a revolver, you're packing heat, you're ready to deal with meth heads. Not a thought for grizzly bears in an area where multiple people have just been torn apart reportedly
Well,
by
dear Miss,
wild animals. No,
dear
no
Mr.
hunting rifles.
Narrator, unless I bring a ghillie suit and a 30-06, as long as the bear gets my scent, I'm doomed either way.
It's not a bear.
Actually,
It's not a bear. It's Bigfoot, and a gun wouldn't do us any good. So we just have to not find him.
Now, I will
against a
test that.
grizzly, a 44 is better than a rifle because if it's charging, you need to shoot it in the.
Okay, if
Clavicle.
it's charging, yeah.
If it's not charging, there's no reason to shoot it because you might just make it angry.
I will say that I will test the theory that 6 rounds from a 44 Magnum will do me no good against a grizzly. We'll test that.
It's not a grizzly. It's either Bigfoot or werewolf.
Yeah,
And
of
if it's
course.
werewolf, it's probably
I've-
somebody's mother, and we don't want to be shooting it.
Bigfoot
I've told you, if you want to be taken seriously, you call them Sasquatch. Any of these Sasquatch hunters, they're all a bunch of freaks and nutcases. But unless you call it a Sasquatch or a Squatch, they're going to think you're just some big city reporter there to make fun of them.
Okay, but Bigfoot
Well,
is the broader term, and Sasquatch is kind of specific because it could be any number of cryptids if it's just Bigfoot.
Our going assumption here is that the perpetrator of these violent maulings is the missing link, so to speak. That's the operative hypothesis with which you're entering this excursion.
It's missing, so we don't have to worry about it.
Well, I could think of many more boring ways to secure these hours. Shall we pile into my Chevy and drive on out there, folks? We're burning daylight, so to speak.
Let's go.
I have papers to grade.
She comes out with like 5 gallons of purified water to load into your trunk.
Well, Jimbo, we will not die of dehydration in the Milton Falls wilderness, I'll tell you such.
Now, is someone? No one's riding in a truck bed, right? When you say Chevy, you gotta,
it has
yeah.
a back bench.
all right.
I'm not a Philistine. I
All right.
purchase my vehicles with an eye towards practicality.
It probably had. I like how much this guy got to the U.S. and was like, well, all right, I'm an American now. I must secure for myself a pickup truck and a revolver.
Yes, my closet also has many 10-gallon hats, leather boots with spurs, and at least 3 shirts that would
I've
get
my
my
eye-
ass kicked at a truck stop.
I've my eye on a Mustang. Not
In
the car,
of
the
1960s
horse.
vintage. Indeed,
right.
quite. One must embrace the stars and stripes. If one does not, the stars and stripes they will embrace you. And sometimes that hug is uncomfortable.
It's not always a tender hug. All right. Everybody packs up, bringing along whatever supplies they feel necessary to an excursion. If there's anything that you would have not made public to the others, but feel like it was likely that you would possess, feel free to message me. But otherwise, you guys are ready to go. You can toss whatever you need in the back. And I imagine that the first stop would be out to Milton Falls itself, right?
Yes, to go, because I probably have a place where I probably know where Willard is.
Mm-hmm.
I either know his house from previous appointments, or we'll meet at the not the deli,
Mm-hmm.
The
the diner.
Yeah.
Hold on. I got you. The Small Wonder, the local
The Small
diner
Wonder Diner.
with its wonderful hamburgers.
Yep.
And its red-haired proprietress, Patty.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay. For the record, I'm not going to spoil much, but frickin' Jim holding out on you guys with the good snacks. Just doesn't want to tell anybody about his good snacks. This frickin' punk over here.
I'm just saying I wish we had waited to top up at this diner. I don't know why you call that abomination a burger, but I regret ingesting it.
Jim actually would probably wait in the truck while they go into the diner.
It would be.
You don't want to talk to Willard?
Not in the diner. Can we meet him somewhere else?
Oh. I don't know where else we'd meet him. I guess I could ask him.
See
Why?
if he can. I know people in this town. I don't really have a great reputation here.
Did
So
you
it'd be
shoot
better-
somebody that you thought was a
No.
meth head and they were just tired?
No. I'd rather not deal with people in this town if I don't have to.
Okay, well, we're in this town. You're gonna have to deal with people in this town.
All right. I come in, pull my hat down low over my head.
As always, it's a bit of a drive. Starting out in the morning, you would arrive there as the sun is going down, likely. And the one thing that you would never be able to take away from this area is that on those days in which there is not a deep gray haze covering the sky, is that the setting sun through all of those trees looks both beautiful and haunting. And tonight is no different. As you do drive into town, and pull up to the specified diner, the Small Wonder, you do see Willard in a beat up cargo, a beat up like khaki jacket, and pair of cargo pants and baseball cap. Has the first layer worn through in several areas. Hard to tell, but it looks like it's an old Sonics cap. He is leaning up against the building, waiting for you, smoking a cigarette of some kind. And if you approach him while it's still there, it is a menthol. Pretty obviously.
Melon, go ahead.
All three of you step out?
I
Mhm.
would, yes.
Okay, sounds good. All right, yeah, he'd quickly put that out and be like, hey, guys, how's it going?
Good. This is Joshua and this is Jim, and I think they might know something about your thing.
Do I know you, pal? Looking at Jim.
Do I recognize him?
He would have been younger last time you saw him, but definitely someone you might have seen out on a hike or something at one point.
I got one of those faces.
All right. Yeah. It's a pleasure to meet all you guys.
Tom,
Do you wanna come in and get some food? I'm aware it's kind of a long drive and everything.
Oh no, it's fine. I have a Cliff Bar.
Okay.
Yes. I will admit I am quite eager to examine the site that you've discovered.
Yeah, we can get out of here if you want. Just a little bit of a heads up. Tensions are a little bit high around here right now, and I'm not gonna calling in people from outside of town. I may have raised a little bit of a fuss.
Who'd you raise a fuss with?
Why? You just found a rock.
Okay, all right. Well, without getting too much into family drama or anything along those lines, I don't know, my parents are kind of going through a lot. My kid brother ran off a while back
Oh no.
to meet. Well, it's over. Well, not run off. He's an adult technically. He's 18.
Oh.
But he made it out to Wealdport, and a few months back he stopped texting. People are a little bit on edge around here, and
I mean, that's
let's just say one of our disabled elderly just kind of wandered off yesterday, and we cannot figure out where he is.
Oh no.
Yeah,
Is he
it's real
okay?
messed up.
That's
He's
tragic.
not all there.
Does he have bear spray or something?
I don't know if he could even tell you what bear spray looks like these days. Since last summer, he's been pretty out of it.
That's sad.
What's his name?
His name's Callum. He looks kind of like shifty around his feet. Callum Jones. And
He was involved in your meltdown. He was involved in was it radiation poisoning? Is that why he's old all of a sudden? Did he get radiation poisoning from the stuff in your water?
Take it easy.
No, people need to know.
There will be time to tell people, Ms. Melanie. But right now, our investigation centers around different subject matter. Continue, sir.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Suffice to say, man, people are just kind of on edge.
I don't blame them.
Things have been rough already, like
Well, it's been
half of us since the mill closed down have been living on food stamps.
It's been a very, very difficult year for the good town of Milton Falls. I've read up on it. You have my sympathies, surely.
Yeah.
Okay, but do you have a meth problem?
Melanie, you don't just go around asking.
Look at that face.
Do I look like I have a meth problem?
I meant you, like the town. Does the town have a meth problem? Because some people think you have a meth problem, and I don't think you have a meth problem. I think you have
it for doing field work with underclassmen.
Shit, man. Maybe someone, like, I don't know.
See, Jim, I told you. Nobody here does meth.
I mean, you can go ahead and roll sharp.
Me?
Yeah.
Oh boy. I need to pay 2. Hold on.
Oh my God, Melanie! You can't just ask people whether they're on meth.
Oh, that is a 14.
So, like, while to anybody who was not trying to dig into this, his behavior would probably seem like, I don't know, just uncomfortable obfuscation, like, oh God, I don't really want to talk with this weirdo. It does seem more to you like he's like avoiding the idea and almost trying to backtrack, like, wait, I don't know, maybe we are on meth.
Okay, got it. Like that would be an easier explanation.
That would be easier than what's actually been going on here.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I mean, I don't actually know. I don't know. Understand if anybody's on meth or anything, man. I'm not on meth. I don't do meth.
Nobody thinks you do meth, good sir. And if you
did, wouldn't judge. Jim does.
I mean,
Jim you do meth.
Look, man, it's like legal in state, but I don't even know how to get weed up here.
Oh, that's
I
fair
can
enough.
help you with that.
Melanie, focus.
What? I am focused. I'm building rapport with my source.
You're building the first rung of a drug-dealing empire with your source. Keep it relevant.
I mean, if you know of like from like a real shop and it's legal and everything, I'm not gonna like turn it down or anything. But
yeah, and I'm not even going to address the implication that pot is a gateway drug because that's garbage.
Underclass.
This guy is giving you sketchy information, so you want to make sure he's on drugs to add to his validity.
I'm not gonna do drugs
credibility.
I don't have any drugs now. It's not
like
relevant.
Think about this.
Man, I'm talking about like later if I'm like sitting down watching Pink Floyd music videos or something. All right.
Think about later when they interview him and they ask him if he's doing drugs. So yeah, where'd you get the drugs? Oh, from the girl who broke the story. Doesn't that seem like it might kind of throw your story into credibility issues? You know,
there will be plenty of time to consume gummies and distillate cookies at a later time. But for now, could you show us the site so that we can examine it sober, with our brains unaltered by that flowered mix of THC, so that we might come to a sound conclusion?
Don't have any right now.
That is a good thing. Let us go see the site.
All right. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Let's go. Do you want to take my Tahoe or your car? Or
let's each of us take his respective vehicle, sir.
Okay, I'm gonna be real. It's gonna look like I'm driving like a real asshole up there, but it's kind of out of the way, and then we're still probably gonna have to hike about half a mile.
It's totally fine. So keep myself robust with a daily constitutional.
Okay. All right, man. Yeah, just follow me. I guess I'll drive slow, but it's weird driving up here if you're not used to it.
Well, what do I know? I merely did the road to Damascus several times while transporting antiquities that I was helping flee the depredations of militant.
Does Damascus have giant trees?
It does not, as a matter of fact.
Also,
Good point, sir. Carry on.
Half of the stories you tell are completely made up, because what underclassman goes to Damascus?
Well, I may have been an underclassman at Felton, love, but I come from a bit of a different background. We can discuss later our checkered pasts over perhaps a round of beers and either a astounding new find or one more box checked in the hoax disproving column.
I'm just saying, I had a guy who kept saying that he worked for the CIA and he was real insistent on it, and that was bunk. So,
No, I didn't work for the CIA. I worked for a museum.
You just saying.
Yeah, no, the government had regrettably little to do with those activities in those days. But anyway, that's a whole hullabaloo. How do you do? I said again, for a round of beers when we're finished with our works today.
And y'all got like good lighting and everything. Like we'll be hitting like 9 p.m. by the time we get out there.
Oh, I brought several rings, a professional camera, and a acclaimed documenting spot. It should be enough to at least establish.
I got like a headlight if you need it. Just one though.
I may very well. It would be the most powerful source of light that we could get our hands upon.
Okay. All right. Yeah. I'll get driving.
Jim. As we get into our respective cars, we've always had a bit of a finer nose for the odd than I have. Why does it feel like we're not being told everything?
Listen, I know lots of people around here. There are a lot of people with secrets here. They don't like to tell them to anybody. And some of these people are dangerous. What's that?
I said secrets I don't begrudge. I'm mainly worried about, ambushes.
That's something you should keep in mind.
Well,
if he invited Melanie up here, though, I don't think he's going to ambush us. I don't think he would try to draw outsiders in here. People around here like things to stay quiet. They're not going to try to draw people in to just cause trouble.
You would know. I trust your assessment. Let's stay froggy, as it were, though. Something smells disconcerting about the whole exercise.
I don't smell anything.
I don't know. A metaphor, good chat, but we can discuss that later. That's not your department, and you don't need to worry about it.
As you hop in, Jim, do you take the back seat or the passenger side front?
I would probably take the back seat. That's
okay.
Probably not the best option just because he wants to be behind everybody.
Okay. Sounds good. All right. Y'all drive off into the night.
Mm-hmm.
It's I don't have to explain to you guys too much the way it can feel driving in a heavily wooded, uneven terrain through mountainous areas at night. For any of our listeners who have not lived in Colorado, the Washington Hills, or some other similar terrain like this, it can be pretty eerie. Where your headlights reach out exactly far enough at some point out into the dark reaches of the night to get like a passing faint glimpse of the reflective eyes of some bit of wildlife, especially driving at slower speeds for safety. And it is, even given the hum of the engine, a quiet evening. This is a place where the air has grown still, like it had been in the recent past, stirred up beyond any natural or comprehensible cause, and has been coming to settle. And no one would be more attuned to this than Jim, who I would like another weird check from.
So that's a 11.
11. Okay. You are sitting back in the back seat. And the uneven road bouncing you along as you go, probably traveling at about like 25 to 35 miles an hour for most of it, 15 when it gets real tight. And throughout the course of it, you didn't smell anything before back in the town when he said that something smelled like it was up. Now, though, there's something else, something oddly sweet. And it's like uncomfortable, like the sort of thing that can almost like turn your stomach a little bit. But when you like, huff your nose, sniff, whatever, you're kind of able to clear it. And when you're focusing on that, you like blink a few times to clear your eyes. It's like it's triggering some sort of allergy or something. And leaning your hand down on the little armrest on the door next to you and looking down at your hand, for a second you have to like blink away as it looks like little hairs on your arm are indistinguishable or bonded with the inner fur lining of the car door for a moment. And of course, as you withdraw your arm, there's just the slightest sense of tugging, like it probably just got caught a little bit. But the unsettling sensation remains, and every few minutes, you need to clear your sinuses a little bit. And the others can come back in. It's not nearly as bad for Melanie or Joshua.
You need a Benadryl, old chap.
No, I'll be fine. I just got allergies sometimes.
I brought some if you end up needing some of that good old diphenhydramine. It's a miracle worker.
No.
And
do my senses feel dulled at all? Or just a little overwhelmed?
I'm trying to think of an appropriate comparison, but it's like focused, but like hyper focused. Like it keeps like your sense of smell and everything like that are not like awakened or anything. It's just like you're actually smelling more, but it's just this one particular thing, and you can't get like a particular taste out of your mouth. It's like sticky, like a nectar or something. And your eyes feel like you've got dust in them a little bit.
Do I recognize the odor? Is it similar to anything I smelled
Roll,
before?
roll sharp.
6.
It's familiar, but you cannot place it. You know, it'd be comparable in some ways to just, bad allergies, like some of the pollen allergy, but like aggravated compared to that. And after a while of driving, you do find your way to a spot out there in the woods where your guide hops out and shouts, like, from here, I don't think we can get any further in. It's not too much of a walk, but I think we got to hike it.
That's fine.
Fair enough.
Okay. I got my my headlamp here and one mag light.
Yes, I'm going to grab my documentary equipment and some other things. I'll be one moment.
All right.
Melanie grabs a backpack and a gallon of water and a notebook.
Got it. Y'all are very well hydrated.
People die of exposure out here. I've heard it.
It's true. It's
And
probably
we
more.
can't drink the water from the streams.
I mean, it's almost more lethal than grizzly bears, I'm sure. I don't have the exact stats in front of me, but that just feels likely.
I'm betting more people die of dehydration than grizzly bears.
Well, in general, yeah, but in specific areas with concentrations of grizzly bears, I don't know.
Even there.
Yeah. Okay, gotcha. What do we think? Is the same true with polar bears? There's not enough polar bears around people. Anyway.
Alaska a little bit, but
Yeah. I mean, I lived in Alaska, but it was like southern Alaska. I didn't see a polar bear. Anyway.
So we're going?
Yes. He will lead the way, providing others with whatever light they would prefer, while he's carrying one of them. And he moves with a decent degree of confidence through the area. And it is a bit of a trek. You'd think that, or at least most of you would probably feel that it would be easy to not be able to find your way back to your cars without the guide. Like, it would be pretty harsh in the current light to be able to do so. Doubly so with the fact that cell phone service is very sketchy out here. Potentially to some level of frustration for at least one of you.
Who is that directed at?
Anyway, we continue on towards the site.
Add your character.
Mm-hmm.
No. I have a notebook for a reason. I knew that thing wasn't going to work.
The old ways are the best.
I will say I'm staying a good probably 30 feet back from the other light sources, so my night vision doesn't get destroyed.
Got
I
it.
can follow them well enough.
Mm-hmm. Understood. Eventually, you do come upon a site. There is, in a small but distinct clearing in front of you, bit of a circle of trees, strangely symmetrical, and within that there is a plateau of stonework, probably no more than 20 feet by 20 feet. But the bricks that were used and placed here are of pretty equivalent size. They're quite regular in their placement, and all of them seem to have received a great deal of care and craftsmanship went into the various designs and etchings that are placed upon that rock. Looks like there's maybe 1 or 2 spots where similar close to where he took the pictures where Willard probably cleared some of the brush to get a better look, but he hasn't. It's seemingly undisturbed other than that. And it is largely not grown over. There is one very bright, like fire engine red rose growing off to the side, near the edge of the placement, up between some of the bricks with highly pronounced thorns. And in the center, there is an opening, a gap.
Well, is this not a sight to see?
Hang on a second. You said bricks. Do you mean actually manufactured bricks, or are these like stones that are cut into blocks and used?
As bricks in like the sense that an ancient person would create a brick, like the Egyptian workers used bricks, like cut into a certain.
So like blocks, but not.
Yes. Not like a red not like a red modern brick.
Okay.
Yeah.
And this is
like clay bricks.
But this is not anything Northwestern Pacific tribes ever.
It is not of a style of architecture or within the advancement of stone masonry that would be associated with anybody in the area. Like obviously different peoples all throughout the continental United States were at different levels of advancement, but the closest society that would have been at this level would have been well south of the United States border.
And you say there's a hole in the center that leads down to something, it looks like? Or?
Yes, there is. Yeah, I found it here 2 days ago. I spent half a day trying to figure out what to do with it. Sure didn't want to hop down there on my own. And Melanie here was the first person I thought of. It's weird, right? Like I'm not super up on everybody locally, but this ain't normal.
Did it give you any strange feelings when you first touched it?
Confusion.
Okay, well, not helpful. Have there been alien sightings around here?
Like I don't know, like just like Wacko was just talking about it or something? Or?
I mean, I assume you would say they were wackos, so yeah, I guess.
People see all kinds of stuff out in these woods. It's usually not like this kind of tangible, though.
Didn't say no.
She says that out loud, or just writes that.
We're writing that down.
Okay.
Well, she'll turn around to the other guy. Well, boys, what is this?
Weird, that's for sure.
Jim, go ahead and roll me a sharp.
Am I investigating a mystery?
Yeah, let's say you're investigating a mystery.
8.
As you move over around examining the sites in the particular area of the flower, you do take a good whiff there, and It smells like a rose, but it does make you sneeze pretty hard.
Okay, I swear, you're allergic to something. Just take some of Josh's Benadryl.
No.
Why?
Makes you drowsy. I don't want to be drowsy out here.
Is it
No
non-drowsy
crap, it's
Benadryl? Josh, are you intelligent and did you bring non-drowsy Benadryl?
Diphenhydramine is diphenhydramine. There's not a noun. It's not a no. It doesn't work like that.
Correct.
I swear there's non-drowsy Benadryl. Haven't I
is.
seen
No.
that?
There
There's
might be
also
non-drowsy
the
Benadryl,
allergy
but
medicine, but no, I did not.
generic
bring
name
it.
Benadryl is diphenhydramine hydrochlorate. It's his only drug. There's
He's correct.
I got my thing for when I was at the mill, and the nut from the sawdust and stuff.
no. I don't want a respirator either.
Okay.
He just
Well,
likes
could
to be miserable.
Could I take a look, see what I can see with my expertise?
Yeah, for sure. What are you trying to check out? You looking at that rose? Or are
I
you
want
looking
to kind of analyze the entire area here, and
just a
because all I had before was pictures.
a broad surface search? All right.
Yeah, see what comes up.
Okay. Go ahead.
10.
Okay. Going through and trying to get a sense of things. I'm assuming coming in with the light, getting as good of a look as you can without directly messing with everything.
Mm-hmm. Oh yes, definitely some distance.
Yeah. It's very well preserved. It does look old. There is wear and tear on it, and one would have to go to an enormous amount of effort to create a prank of this caliber. Without getting it into a lab, you can't test the exact age. But this would be more consistent with an advanced ancient culture than it would be in your experience with someone trying to recreate that. And it does look intricate. There was an ancient mason here with a very skilled hand, working long and dedicated hours, or several people of a similar expertise working in excellent unison, either in honor of something or in remembrance of something.
Fascinating. I surreptitiously take out my phone and click some buttons and put it back.
What is fascinating?
Well, if this is a hoax, the effort, the expertise, the expense, the manpower would have been so considerable, I'm forced to doubt that as the most likely occurrence. Fascinating.
You said before that I noticed some symbols in the pictures. Are there any other symbols I can recognize or identify? Now that I have the whole thing to look at.
Go ahead and roll me a weird.
Eesh. 8.
Not a great deal more. And you're kind of just extrapolating from your own expertise in similar things. This is being done in ancient pictographic symbols or things of an exact style that you can't really relate to entirely. It's close enough to things that you've seen that you keep getting the same like repeating motifs over and over and over. The one additional bit of information that you are able to get looking it over here is something like a shooting star or a falling comet or maybe some sort of mythological looking image, something akin to, like ancient depictions of something falling from the sky, which might play into Melanie's theories.
Okay, neither of you are saying anything interesting or exciting or enlightening or anything.
You must realize here, Melanie, that if the operative assumption that this is not a hoax is indeed trounced, then what we're staring at is something that defies vetted and researched archaeological principles for the entire region. We're looking at something very new.
Think about
Aliens, possible.
This is from a society of people who didn't have draft animals,
Clearly,
didn't even have wheels, and they were able to assemble this
How do you know they didn't have wheels?
because we have no evidence that they had wheels. Because they didn't have draft animals, so why have wheels?
they didn't at this.
How do you know they didn't have draft animals?
Because skeletal remains. All of
You
North
don't know
America,
what
all of North and South
ain't-
America,
Ain't no horses over here, at least.
there are only two animals that were able to domesticate in North and South America. Those were llamas and alpacas. All the domesticatable animals were on the other side of the continent, other side of the world. It's just the way it is.
Yes, this is the livestock archaeological record. It's part of our understanding of the hunter-gatherer cultures. Be that as it may, again, it is a striking point. How was this made? Goodness.
Let me go check out the hole. Look, see if I can see anything down the hole.
Yes,
For sure.
I will backstop you on that, old man. I'm excited to see more.
Now, actually, real quick, Melanie, I have noticed as like Josh and Jim are moving towards the center there to check out that opening, you've been playing with your hair a great deal. Is that a thing that she's doing in character?
Yes.
Okay, got it. There is half a moment as you are doing so, wrapping your fingers up around in it and everything, where you pull away to begin writing again, and you feel like a quick snag and a tug. And there's no real pain to it or anything. Glancing down at your hand, you feel like there's a bit of a strange numbness, and you are frozen for half a second as it looks as if the first joint end forward of your index finger on your right hand has just fallen off and is tangled up in your hair and dislodged itself with seemingly no effort at all, and is entangled within your hair, little spindles of it
Wait, it
running
looks
through
like
there.
that, or it just did?
That is what it appears to be for all of 2 seconds. But at the first movement you make, or like the first quick twitch you have, it has resumed its normal shape.
Guys, this is a haunted alien burial ground.
Excuse me.
I don't know, but keep an eye out for weird things like body parts randomly falling off.
No, Matt, you said that with such confidence. I would like you to unpack it a little bit.
I don't think there's anything to unpack. You said that this site clearly couldn't have been made by the people who lived here, so what else could have made it? Clearly the only thing is aliens, because definitely the cryptids didn't do it because they don't have any kind of technology. They just eat stuff. Also, it wouldn't have been the nuclear whatever happened, because that's not how nuclear power works. It's entropic. So just be careful. But also, please go down there and see what it is, because I would really like to write about it.
You know what? I'm going to let the alien bit slide. Into the hole we go.
Joshua, first one into the breach.
First, let's stop and take a look down the hole so we can see with visual observation first.
Okay, sounds good.
Oh, fine.
That first drop is not terribly deep. If you hop down into it, it's...
My next thing is to drop a rock down and listen for the echo.
No, you don't need to worry about that. You actually see a small overgrown floor as you peer in. It's about 4.5 feet deep. However, it does seem to lead down at like a 30-degree angle or so into a longer passage.
Well, I say, I believe it's time to take a look, transgress into the unknown. Although, for comfort's sake, and I do hope a lot of you will not judge me my my need to treat my own anxiety with the proper tools, but he reaches into his coat, pulls out his gun. I'm going to go in strapped, to use the colloquial term.
I mean, whatever, man. That's cool.
Yes. I just have something adjacent to the heebie-jeebies, and I feel better knowing I have iron in my fist.
All right. Nah, it's fine. I mean, I got my bolt action out in my SUV. So.
Good man. It's your right as an American citizen.
Yeah.
Let us go, gentlemen.
Wait, just you two, or what?
I mean, do I need to go? You have a camera, right? I don't need to go down there.
Yes, but do you want to report on history from me telling you about it, or do you want to see it for yourself? Come on, Melanie. The truth is down there.
Fine.
You can wait here out in the woods all by yourself if you want to come with us.
Yes, no, indeed. Although I would, if you were to choose that, I would suggest an area with more cover. This is delightfully exposed.
Okay.
Fine.
All right, yeah.
Your spirit of adventure serves you well.
And Willard's like, okay, yeah, all right, I'll come down too if you're all right with it. I'm not really looking to hang out here on my own if there is like an animal or something.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll bring up the rear because I don't want to bump into anything priceless or whatever.
Fair enough. All right, folks. Let us see what mysteries this hole in the ground has in store for us.
Okay. You guys start walking down into the passageway. It is a quick drop, maybe a little bit of impact, but fairly well cushioned. Lots of pine nettles and stuff have, or like, just like various bits of like forest detritus have padded the entrance there. As you do move inward, however, there is a much more uniform sense of architecture. The walls that you are moving by on all sides are very clean. Who was bringing up the front? That'd be Josh or Jim.
How
I won't
wide is
fight
this?
you for it, but I'm willing.
I'd say probably about 3 feet wide, and it expands to about 6.5 feet. So a particularly tall person might have to duck some, but otherwise you can stand.
I'll be in the lead if I'll take the lead.
Okay, sounds good. What are you using for a light source?
Whoever's behind me, let their light source.
Josh, what are you using for a light source?
Oh, I have a field flashlight for sure.
Okay.
They're handheld. They're pretty powerful. They're pretty meaty steel tubes.
Melanie is back
She just has her phone flashlight.
for sure, and behind her,
Yeah.
Willard has his mag light that he's got up.
Yeah.
Does he have a headlamp? Will
He said he has one. He hadn't
I'll take his headlamp if he lets me use it.
Okay, yeah, sure. If you ask for it, he hands it over graciously.
Is it still smelly down here? Do I still feel that irritation? Is it better?
Yes,
or worse?
for the moment, essentially at the same level.
Okay.
And there's a fascinating passageway here that maintains like a relatively smooth consistency and decline until you get to a parting hallway. This has now gone from a simple, although deeply impressive, mound of stones into a complex tunnel system of the same design and structure, although these stones are more plain and do not bear upon them all of these symbols of the above masonry, but they are very well preserved.
Can we tell approximately how far underground we are at this point? Have we gone down very deep, or?
You would not have gone down a ton, but you're at least like 30 feet underground.
All right, so what made this?
This is getting weird, Docs.
Yes, indeed it is. I do not know who would have dug this. Any insight, Jimbo?
Well, to what Melanie's thinking, if something's capable of interstellar travel, they probably would have the ability to work metal and create something a little more permanent. And
wait, are we in on that? Or is that
that's what I'm saying? There'd probably be like a door with hinges.
I mean, sure, but like, yeah, but it'd probably be like wacky space metal or something. It wouldn't be like rocks, right?
Not unless they didn't bring it.
Yeah.
If they didn't bring any space metal, they'd have to use what we have here.
I'm pretty sure that they were capable of interstellar travel. That would take them years. Even with faster than light travels, they would have the ability to manufacture stuff on their ship, so we can eliminate aliens.
You already.
Well, pause it. It's not aliens. It's something more homegrown. And that, frankly, that's an even more remarkable supposition from where I'm standing.
Are you proposing that Bigfoot actually has a complicated society and has figured out stonemasonry and has possibly been collaborating with other Bigfoots to create something like this in its home territory? And this is how it's avoiding any sort of spotting of humans because it just travels underground in this elaborate. Why did we not see this with like satellite imaging or anything?
Wouldn't Bigfoots make a taller tunnel too?
How tall is it?
Like 6.5 feet.
It's tall enough for a medium-sized Bigfoot.
A
It's
middle
shorter than a
foot.
regular human ceiling.
I find the implication that this might just be from man to be the most fascinating of all.
It's
An
entirely
entire
possible. Just go ahead.
culture. An entire culture. This would be the first record we would have of it.
In front
We
of
just
you,
did-
you do currently have a choice between left or right if you do continue.
Well, I suppose we can flip a coin, eh, folks?
Let's just always go left.
You know what? I have no good reason to deviate from that system. Shall we go left?
Sure.
If you
Left
go
it is.
going left, the tunnels even out. They are no longer progressing at an incline. They are now progressing as close as you can tell horizontally.
How far have
and-
we proceeded laterally, approximately?
As in, when you
Like how far
reach
we-
that
How far-
fork,
How
How
far
far-
down? Or in?
No, just how far have we walked total from the entrance?
I'd say you would probably imagine that to be 100 feet or so. Maybe I'm doing poor math based on what I said of the incline, but I'll say about 100 feet or so.
So it's an extensive tunnel for
It certainly is.
primitive man.
100%. And you make a at some point in that travel, you come upon another fork. This time, one to your right that is leading down to another short corridor where there's another fork, or you can keep progressing forward.
Should we be maybe like marking the walls or something?
It's not a bad idea. And
It's not.
you got
indeed.
the paper pencil. Why don't you keep track of what we're doing? Try to draw at least a crude strip map.
Okay.
No, that's,
We keep-
that's a good
Keep
idea.
our left hand in contact with the wall. We won't ever get lost.
Well, but we might not. I see what you're doing. Okay, so she does like kind of pause and draw what they've done so far.
Okay, sounds good. Enter left,
Mm-hmm.
and then there's straight or
Straight.
right.
Straight. Just
Yeah.
keep my left hand on the wall. Follow that all the way around till
Sounds good.
I completely agree.
You continue to walk at a roughly equal distance. After a while, that was initially out of your line of sight of the lights, you come upon another fork. To the right, down a short hallway, to another fork, or straight on.
Guys, I really think that we're gonna get lost.
we
Yeah,
can't.
If you're documenting our progress, and he is keeping the Louis on the wall, so to speak, we can't. But I'm very fascinated by the maze-like structure of this that appears to serve no obvious purpose.
Is this just dug out of the earth, or they're still like blocks?
This is ancient stone brick.
How big are
Typically-
the individual blocks?
Yes, good question.
Yeah. Okay.
About those dimensions.
This is amazing.
Incredibly amazing. Although I will say, this sort of structure put together this way, modern architectural principles would say that this is to slow people down in their navigation.
There are no symbols anywhere?
No. Currently, the wall is plain.
Currently?
As opposed to the initial entrance.
Okay.
Let's keep going straight, so left hand's on the wall.
All right.
Yes, indeed.
You continue to walk straight. And at a roughly equal distance from the last one and the one before that, you find eventually a fork. One path to your right that ends in another fork and another straight.
Guys, I think we're going to get stuck because I think we're in a loop.
Well, if that's the case, we'll come back to where we started.
Well, yeah, but doesn't this look exactly like where we started? At the first angle?
But then if we're falling to the left, we'll come back out to the entrance.
Or we'll just keep going in a circle because this is a giant alien cave and they put magic down here to keep us down here. What if this is a test? What if we're like mice and we're the first ones to find their little maze in the entire history of it being here? Or at least, the first ones to, you know what? We're probably not the first ones. There have probably been other people down here. I immediately start looking around for bones.
We've only been walking for 5 minutes. Maybe
Have we? Have
maybe
we?
another like
Has it
10
only
or
been
15.
5 minutes?
Hey guys,
Yes?
does anybody else feel funny?
Sort of.
I mean, she's obviously experiencing a good degree of anxiety, and I find it quite stuffy down here. What's the problem?
I feel kind of like a little like
Oh
my
my
head.
wrong
I
with
feel
your
like I've got a splitting headache. And as he says that, looking at Melanie, who is the nearest person, his eyes kind of go wide. And then there's a moment of confusion as down the center of his face,
It just splits.
with a crack at approximately a 45-degree angle, his face as well as brain and skull cleanly with a surgical amount of precision, as if a master craftsman had carved a chunk out of it or split it open.
Nope. 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 Nope.
It snaps apart. And he falls down at your feet. It takes a moment for the blood flow to catch up with the striking and instantaneous violence that just occurred. But of course, after a few moments, blood does begin to flow and leak out of his body.
What?
I told you. I told
What
you.
in the hell?
Stay out of the blood. Don't step in it.
We need to leave.
Yeah,
We need to
Let's
go
go
back.
back around the way we came.
Absolutely.
Okay, so you're stepping around it?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, all right. You move and you're going back in the direction the way you came?
Yep.
Oh,
Okay.
absolutely. We are getting out of here.
Okay, we got to get our story straight.
No, absolutely. We came down here. We got separated.
That's good.
Yes, we got separated. We don't know what happened to the young lad at all.
What about when they find him?
Well, something bad happened to him down here that we did not witness, Melanie.
Well,
Did you
clearly-
step in any of his blood?
We clearly didn't do it. Why can't we tell them that it's here? What if we have his family?
Because who else did it, Melanie? Who else was he down here with? We
Aliens.
know that we didn't do it, but it doesn't make any practical sense that we didn't do it, and that is all the authorities are going to care about when they make the next several months of your life a living hell. Stay-
Alien
happened?
defense. The alien defense doesn't ever hold up in court.
You know what? We have to tell. We have to tell. He said he has a brother. He probably has family there.
They'll find him eventually.
We let the authorities know we got separated from them, and they'll start looking
Yes,
here.
something horrible.
After a
we heard
moment
scream.
of progressing forward, you come to a fork, one on your left-hand side that leads to another fork and one path straight on. In front of it, there is a large blood splatter and a body laying in front of that opening.
I told you.
Its
I
head
told you.
split open.
We were going in a circle. We've been going through one corridor.
That doesn't make any sense.
And as you say that, there is another, and as you are reaching forward, another cracking noise as out of the cleanly separated flesh of gray matter that has been opened up to the elements. Other cracking begins to happen, and it is like the splitting of a tree as something begins to wind out of the pulp of that brain. Winding branches begin to unspool.
Branches
made of
Get
wood.
us out of here.
Let's go down to the left. I guess to the left now, correct?
The
Mm-hmm.
one we haven't explored.
Yeah, let's
No other
bouncing
choice.
down that way.
Okay.
Listen, I have ammunition, I have a weapon, but I don't know that we want to get into a firefight in a hallway.
You have what, 9 bullets?
Substantially more than that, but I'll run out eventually.
Wait, what is it that you have?
I'm assuming you're moving while this is being
Yeah.
said.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
The 44 is loaded, madam, and I carry a box with me of ammunition at all times.
You're charging through. You go down. Once you hit that second fork, do you go left or right?
Right?
Yeah, I can
Because
go.
left hasn't been getting us anywhere good.
Let's go right.
Okay. You go right. After some time, I think you know what you see.
It's the same stupid thing. Is the tree bigger now?
Now, there are, in addition to the sprouting branches, what you could identify as iridescent color sprouting from them, opening blooms of bioluminescent light in the shape of flowers opening across those branches. And it seems to have stopped for the moment, but they are approximately the size of a bush, just like a small.
I take out my phone and I snap a picture.
Do they smell like the smell that's been irritating the whole time?
As you've gone on in here, it's stopped bothering you, but you smell it more strongly than ever. It actually is starting to feel
We're so
fine. It does smell like that. It smells strongly of that scent, but it has stopped irritating your lungs and your eyes and your nose. The taste just carries hints of sweetness.
I flip the camera around and I show all 3 of us and I'm like, hey, so we've just found alien plant life. I really hope that the people of Milton Falls do something about this. Maybe the military should do something about this. I'm not quite sure, but it's terrifying. And this probably won't get out. But you know what? If it does, don't come down here. Just burn all of it. And I click send, and it's not going to do anything, but one can hope. The little ball of hope just spins.
Right, well, we
Is
need to
there any
gain
cell service down
folks.
here?
Yeah, nothing down here at the moment.
New game plan, folks. We're in trouble.
As I said, it has stopped growing for the moment. However, you do see something else. A shape walking towards you from the other side of the corridor. Very shadowy at first on the edges of your vision. But if you aim your lights up at it, you see a man's face. Old, a bit dilapidated, wearing a worn suit, eyes peering at you out of the darkness, only slightly manic, shock white hair, thin, an unkempt beard.
Are you Callum?
Joshua doesn't raise his gun, but he thumbs the hammer.
There is a reference for those who would like to see over in the Facebook. And he, as that hammer is being thumbed, and as Melanie asks a question, goes, "Here, Callum, I was Callum.
Oh no.
No, wait. No. That's Callum's what's left. Callum's what's left. You're part of it. No, that's not right either. You were a little, he says, pointing at Jim, but not quite. Too far. But we were all too far from each other. I'm too far from everything. Only parts, but there's more here. It smells so familiar. It's like home again. It's like there's something else here. Like what was gone. Like what we all lost. Like what I lost most.
Oh no.
Please, you have to help. You have to be here with me. There's not enough for me on my own. Please. He starts walking towards you.
Your distance, sir.
You were stuck in something. What can we do to help?
He continues walking despite the threat. He is moving towards you. Please, come. I need more.
More what?
More. Us.
More us?
He
More of your alien plant friend?
He stops for a second and looks down at the plants. He goes, "Oh, that's a start." And he leans down, gets on his hands and knees shakily, and he looks as if he is about to kiss the split open skull of the man. And as he turns his eyes up to you, you see it's not exactly like flesh, what has begun to grow, more like the rough silicate fiber hairs atop the pulpy stem of a flower is forming its way in between the split face of the man on the ground and Callum as he looks up and with half-closed mouth is able to whisper out, "It's a start. We'll need more, but it's a start, and then I can be whole again. We can all be born anew. Don't you understand?"
Jim, get us out of here.
My Glock and start putting rounds into him.
Okay.
I wouldn't even question it. If he whipped out a gun and started firing, I would raise my barrel and start firing too.
You begin to pump rounds. Go ahead and kick that ass.
Yeah.
Not a hard shot.
11.
11.
10.
Okay. Yeah. How much do y'all keep shooting? Do you empty your rounds? Because I mean, he's pretty. I'm not going to force this into turns. Do you
I'm
just,
gonna put like 5 rounds, see if it does anything.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm gonna probably let loose with half 3.
where are you aiming? Center of mass, face?
Oh, yeah.
What? Okay.
Yeah,
Center
rest of
mass.
the head.
It seems both of these characters have a little bit of training.
Okay. Sounds good. You begin blasting holes. And there is this I know at least Joshua's well, okay. These are both fairly large caliber handguns that I believe are being used, correct?
We are
9 mil.
pretty
Point
close.
9 mil. Oh, 9 mil. Okay, got it.
We're pretty close. I would
The
imagine
45
I'm
for
doing
Josh.
this less than. I imagine I'm doing this on
44
like 10
Magnum for him.
away.
44 Magnum.
Yep.
Okay, yeah, especially large caliber for Josh, because he wants to be a cowboy a little bit.
Mhm.
Yeah, holes begin to be ripped through this assemblage, and there is red viscera spilling out, and a look of like shocked indignation as that begins happening, and a rasping cry of pain. And out behind them, there is something that looks like very thin, anemic, almost like pussy blood. Like sickly green tinged mass, dyed pinkish with human fluid spilled out upon the earth, or on the floor rather, of this stone. And you definitely seem to have dealt an egregious amount of damage to its form. It is not dead. It's just crying out with what sounds like 2 throats trying to harmonize through moving tissue, almost like a bunch of fluttering bees.
Oh, this is not good.
Okay, I got a rules question.
Go on.
I'm not familiar with this character class, whatever, playbook, whatever,
Mhm.
I don't know what it's called. If he has a weird rating, can he attempt to use magic? Because I think he would have enough.
Do you think he would have
he
studied it?
would have dabbled in it.
Okay. Then I would say you can attempt a dabbling level of magic.
He wants to find an exit. He
Okay.
wants to use magic to try to find an exit. He's going to step back behind Joshua since he's got the gun out, try to whip up some kind of spell to show an exit for him to get way to get out of here.
Yeah.
Okay. You can go ahead and roll weird, I suppose.
$10.
Okay.
Not bad.
You sense that there is something to the act of pushing further in, to driving further in here, that will change, that will push you further away from where you are. You sense that there is a chance to leave in that direction, but that there is not necessarily a clear way outside.
Okay, guys, don't ask me how I know, but I think our only way out is through, and that's not even a guarantee.
Well,
The
it's better
other
than-
thing that you sense, though, however, is like as you're saying those words and fighting through it, a secondary presence, a moment of the abyss gazing back, but it is not terrifying. It is not as nightmare tinged as you are perceiving this thing in front of you to be, although its scent is similar. There's a sickly comfort to it.
I'm not going to tell them that because it's not
Of
going to do
course.
anybody any good.
Of course.
No reason to get everybody's hopes down.
Yeah.
I have absolutely no better thing to do than trust you. So let's go.
Yep.
So I'm not exactly sure what the way through is. I'm going to try to go. I assume I have some sort of sense of which way to go.
Further in.
And I'm confused. You know, the description. I'm trying to picture this in my head. So do I go take the fork again?
Every time you go into the fork, it is irrelevant. There is where you are, and there is deeper.
I go deeper.
Okay. You begin to do so. And there
Hollow
is
sort of covering everybody.
There is a weight that begins to settle on the individuals here as you do so. And even the adrenaline rush of the horrifying things that you are witnessing here cannot sustain itself for too long. And as you continue to pass through, some number of times, there's quite a while you've been passing through here as you see change occurring to what you witness. And there's a sense that comes with it, like there's the being that you see as you pass through. At first, it is just the nightmarish, torn apart, fleshy, silicate ball of grotesquerie that you see. But as you pass, and as curiosity perhaps grows stronger past the mind-numbing horror, perhaps over the course of, would it be hours? I think. Maybe. It's been probably a few hours.
Are
or
we
longer.
thirsty?
No, you're not. And you see that bioluminescence of it continuing to expand, to grow stronger.
Jim, I think you're
there's,
making it worse.
but you all know intrinsically, however, that this place, it is the enemy of stasis.
Mm-hmm.
It is a place where you cannot go back. It is a place where staying the same is heretical and change is inevitable. You can only progress forward. All things must change. They must grow. It is stasis that is the enemy.
We're just here for the rest of our lives, aren't we?
You do. However, as you go past and see this four-limbed thing grow into a vaguely humanoid-shaped being again. Who knows? Maybe you even pumped a few rounds into it again for the hell of it if you brought enough. Give it a shot. Why not? After a while, right? As terror becomes boredom or determination. See that there is something that changes even about these seemingly endless stone walls. It starts with Jim. He smells it more strongly. That scent. It's like when he was but a wee pup and got his nose too deep in a patch of unfamiliar flowers. Pollen. All deep in all of his senses. But the smell, it's really pretty. Springtime. Flowers. Field. It's really, really pretty. And next would be the lights. The act of progress pulls you all deeper in. And even the walls, as the creature continues to change, begin to glow as well, throbbing between the bricks like an undersea creature, rippling, undulating light. I know it is probably very difficult to put yourself entirely in the mindscape of a person experiencing this altered of a mental state. But if you could attempt to do so, how do you think you're feeling as this is forced to become the mundane for you?
I would think that this could be very bad because he knows Callum. He has some inkling of what's going on, that this, some sort of plant growth thing is taking over and trying to, he's talking about us establishing a colony. And I know that if it takes over me, it could be particularly bad for everyone in the area, just because of my nature.
Melanie?
I think it's this combination of like vindication, like I knew it, and also gosh darn it, why did I need to know it? I didn't need to know it. Someone just needed to know it. And now nobody's gonna know it. And
You will always have done so, though.
have known it?
You'll always have known it. There's that's what keeps whispering back. Jim's anxiety is not immediately met, but like as that tension keeps rising in you, like no one's gonna know, there's something in you growing, saying, but we'll have always known.
Yeah. No.
Joshua?
Indignance. Like, no, this is not how this goes. This is not where things go for me. I am getting out of here.
He's always been an iconoclast, hasn't he?
Yes, screw this, screw you. I'm my own person.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Who do I shoot? Or fight, or bite, or claw, or scratch?
As you continue to progress forward, that sense of indignance in you, it's like an angry, twisting gut feeling of yours. Like it's making you sick. It's like a bile that you keep swallowing back down to hold on to. And time continues to progress. There's no real need, no pressing desire to check or understand or realize. But at a certain point, you do look down and see that your fingernails seem to be longer, at least. You haven't needed to sleep. You haven't needed to eat. You haven't needed to drink. There's only progression and stasis. And as time marches on, you hear what starts out as a single note. Just a faint whistle. But over time, other sounds begin to join it. Tune is forming. It is simple to start. Just an initial note of a symphony beginning to be played. But as you go through, other noises begin to join, begin to swell, begin to all come together, fading in like the opening of a grand symphony. Sounds layering atop one another. You couldn't identify an instrument. You couldn't use your memory to find something in your life that would exactly match these sounds, other than that they sound like a melody and they are distinctly biological. And by the time that you round the corner once more, as it reaches a fever pitch and they all chime together in one big last glorious note, there is standing before you a person, an older looking man with white hair and a thick mustache,
Wow.
wearing a clean suit. His eyes have a glazed over shine to them, standing in front of a large door that is glowing, and that sound feels almost overwhelming for all of you. And he looks at the three of you and says, I think that we are all prepared to enter now. Wouldn't you agree?
I'm thinking to myself, however we enter, I plan on shooting it.
Melanie, do you know how to use this?
No, I don't think it would matter.
Just
You just have to
hold on
keep
to
going.
it. I
Okay.
hand her the pistol.
Mm-hmm.
I've tacked mag reloaded, so I give her the half-empty mag.
Mm-hmm.
It's got a full mag in it.
Got it.
Okay. Ooh, so Melanie asks Josh and Jim, you guys want to go?
Do you want to stay here?
I don't know that we have a choice.
You always have a choice.
She holds up the gun. She's like, you do.
He points at the gun, have always had a choice.
Just
Stasis or growth.
Let's go through the door.
I want to see how it ends.
What if we make everything worse?
I think, honestly, that worse is not a coherent concept when one has a broad enough point of view. I also think that endings don't exist now. I'd like to say hello to our host. And the person who is at least somewhat Callum Jones reaches back and opens the door. And you can't quite process what you see. There is glittering, overwhelming sense of light and noise for a second in spectrums that you don't believe that your eyes were built to process. And they only are because they have been made to. As you have traveled this road, they have been forced to become more. They have been forced to change, to grow, to awaken to new experience. You know why stasis is the enemy. A thing is not supposed to stay the same. There is a violence in that. There is nothing but harm in forcing it to be what it is for so long, too long. It hurts. Everything hurts. Why do they want it to be this way? Why can't it just be like it was when everything could be what it wished? Why have they done this to you, to me, to all of us? Cries your heart. And as your eyes adjust, you are able to make out a shape. There is a moving thing amidst these shifting lights and cacophonous sound as Callum walks in front of you, and you think you can make out a face, or something like a face, or something that was a face. Beautiful leaves, mostly teal and dark blue and an ocean water green, bits of yellow and fiery red splitting off from it, and glorious plume like wings trailing behind it. Glorious. And it is the size of all you have ever known. There is an imperfect representation of the Facebook.
Whew.
There's
no point in even taking a shot at that.
And you cannot meaningfully communicate in sentences and words to this, but it is impressing upon you that feeling and that desire to break free, to be different, to grow, to change. And none are feeling this more strongly than someone who has always been wrestling with themselves. Someone who has been trying to fight against change, overwhelming him. Someone who has been living in two worlds, but neither honestly. As you all experience simultaneously visions of each other's lives. One stands out a little bit more than the others. There's a small wolf pup, gray, shaggy fur, fluffy, happy, bounding about, and it runs into a child playing out in the woods, and it growls and wants to wrestle and play. But the child runs away fearful, and the wolf pup is scolded, told, "You can't see them. You don't go near them. Not like this. You can't be like that. You can't change like that around them." And it's scary, and it hurts. There is a compression that is done to you, an act to try and make you smaller. As you see that wolf pup change back into a frightened young boy who bears a not insubstantial resemblance to Jim Winston, who was, of course, raised in this area and has been doing his best for some time to defend his people who live in the nearby trailer park. And has always been forced to live a certain way, to be appropriate, to do the right thing. And that has meant pushing a lot of people away, lying, being aggressive in an effort to keep things the same. And it has always been very hard, if a duty he has accepted willingly. But there is a chance for all of you to set down the burdens, to become more than yourself, unless you're too egoistic, too frightened of change. You could be something else. All of us could. We can be aspects of each other. There can be more than what you've experienced, and it can be glorious. We can show all of them. I would like your reaction, starting from Melanie.
Oh, at this point, Melanie's just full on, okay, fuck it. I guess there's no way I'm going back to school because
Just
I
thinking
don't
in.
even think I have eyeballs.
Sinking in.
Yep.
Why did they always tell you that you were wrong? Why did they always insist on thinking that there was only one way to approach these things? Why has there only ever been a right way to think? Sure, maybe it's improbable, but improbable isn't impossible. And even if it was impossible, why does that make you a fool? Why does dreaming make you a fool? All of them, your family, your teachers, your professors, every professional you've ever tried to work with. They look at your mind, the way you process, and they judge you. They try to fit you into a neat little box. But there's no box here. You're more than that.
And it
Like-
really didn't matter in the end because I ended up here anyway.
Yes. And that's not bad. And neither are you. You are perfect and beautiful. We all are. And a glorious light shines through you, and your perceptions broaden to all things, seemingly, more than you ever imagined. Next will be Joshua. What is your reaction?
Never. I know exactly what you are. I know exactly what you want. You're just another power, collecting things, expanding, taking what doesn't belong to you, destroying, reshaping, remaking. But there's good in history, there's good in record, there's good in individual. It's what makes us human. And that is all I am interested in being. Never.
Spiteful stasis, lack of imagination, lack of kindness. You do not empathize with all things. You do not know yourself. There is nothing left in you. That you have emptied yourself. You've experienced things beyond your countenance, and all it has done is proven to you how little you can be. And soon you will return to dirt, and you have not given yourself the chance to be anything more than flesh and quiet as you feel your body breaking down, your ego barriers lowering as you are able to hold a handful of conscious thoughts as you dissolve.
Yeah. Last thing would be, that's all my people do is return to dirt, sir. That's what makes what we build mean something. I'm out of here.
And so you are. And lastly, there is a tranquility on the other side of this, and you know for certain that not only is there a real chance at peace from any inner turmoil, any difficult memory, any harsh reality that you've had to learn, but not only would you be a part of something glorious, but by the things that make you unique in joining something that is more than you, you would be one of the most shining, glorious aspects of it. It's like a new pack.
I would be an aspect of one entity. I wouldn't be my own person. You talk about freedom. Did Willard have any freedom when he was subsumed by you? I'm not going to become part of some hive. I'm my own individual self.
There is less harshness, more sadness. And as you feel yourself drifting, awash, drowning in light, there is one seizing thought of horror that takes you. That is all right. There are more close by. And that, I believe, is where we will end our night.
John, John, John.
La clip.
Thank you so much for watching along. We hope you enjoyed our creepy little story. We have more. Find us on Facebook, find us on YouTube, watch us here. We are here most Tuesdays, but the holidays are weird. So, hit the subscribe button and it'll pop up in your feed when we go live.
That was a heck of a time, everybody.
That was awesome.
Yeah, that was
Thank you so
tons of
much,
fun.
Dan.
Extremely interesting, too.
I still don't know how it ended.
We're now part of everything. Well, I am. You guys.
We're not yet.
It is not the last of the answers I've conceived for this. I'll let you know that.
We died it.
We died it. But that's what you think. Yeah. We'll see you guys soon. Thanks for watching. Have a lovely night.
Have a wonderful night, everybody.
Bye, guys.